And we're back to learning Midjourney. Let us cover the remaining basics. And for that I'll use a simple prompt, just one word prompt. Let's use a dog. Here we have our 4 dog variations now. It's a simple square 1 by 1. And let us maybe upscale number 3, so U3. I've shown you the variation buttons already, but we can create more variations of this prompt by clicking here, so let's do that. It will simply take the dog single word prompt yet again to create 4 variations, but here's our upscale 3. You can see very strong, subtle and region. Let us do it subtle and strong. I haven't yet talked about region in my last video. I'm going to cover it, but first let's check the guide. Here we have our variation comparison. The original upscaled and subtle, you can see it keeps basically the form of this lake or river, and in strong it alters it a little bit more so that the form changes. Here again with the fruits, let's focus for example on the yellow fruit at the left. On the right hand side it has changed, but in the middle you can see there's always a yellow fruit in the same position. We will talk about the settings in a later video. There you can adjust the default state of your variations, but for now just play around with these 2 options that we have. So here again, we've done a subtle variation right here. It keeps most of the basic features, looks very similar. And with strong, we've done that also. Facial expression changes and even the tilt of the head or the head position in general. Here's our overall variation. It just took the dog prompt yet again, and the images look totally different from what we had before. Let us upscale one of these, maybe number 2. And now we'll talk about very region. If you left click on it, a new menu will pop up. It's the Midjourney editor. It's fairly simple, only 4 options. Submit button. I haven't yet selected anything, so I can't submit it. Rectangle, lasso, tool for selection, and the redo button. Let me use rectangle. I could cover the eyes like this, but it's too big. I can make it smaller, like so. But if I want to be perfect, I use the lasso tool. Left click drag, it creates a circle around one eye, then left click drag around the other one. I've got both areas selected, I submit. And this is now going to keep everything else in the photo except for the selected regions, in our case the 2 eyes. And here's our result now. It looks very similar as I've only selected a small region, but if you look carefully, the eyes on the right hand side at the bottom are really different from the ones in the other photos. On this, what you can do, you can change facial expressions like that and have fun altering the photos that you've already generated. Let me just upscale another example for our next topic. I'll take this one. And here we have the zoom buttons. Zoom out 2 times, 1.5 times, and custom zoom. Custom zoom pops up this menu. You have your original prompt, aspect ratio 1:1, which is the square, and zoom 2 by default. And you can change the value, but it has to be between 1 and 2. So 2 is the maximum and 1 would simply keep what you already have. Let me use 1.2 and I confirm. So now I have 3 zooms working in the background for 2, 1.5 and 1.2. Let's get back to the guide and we'll check our zoom. It's under user guide, advanced prompts, zoom out. It allows us to extend the canvas. Here again, a good example, 1.5, 2 times zoom. Make square, I'll talk about that later on. Ignore it for now. We're going to cover it, don't worry. But custom zoom is right here. You can see that we not only can add custom values between 1 and 2, we can also change the prompt. So we could, for example, take this image and put it inside of a frame on a wall. So by using custom zoom, you can not only change the zoom manually, you can also alter the prompt a little bit. Then let's get back to our dog right here, the colorful dog. And we now have our 3 zoom levels. Here, zoom out indicates that we've zoomed, but it doesn't give you the value. But you can see this first one was zoomed out 2 times, this one 1.5 times, and here 1.2. Let's get back to this dog, and now we'll use the custom zoom. Let me use the exact prompt that was used in the example. So a framed picture on the wall, parameter zoom with a value of 2. We'll get back custom zoom for the upscaled image. I'll paste it here. Framed picture of a dog on the wall. We need a zoom. I will keep the aspect ratio to a square 1:1. Zoom value, I'll keep it to 2. I submit. It's working right here. And you can already see while it generates, a frame is being added. And here we are now. It has kept the original image and then put it inside of a frame on a wall. This is also possible by using custom zoom. Let us create yet another example. I use the same prompt yet again. We'll start with 4 dogs. I use number 4, I upscale it. And now we have these arrows, and these are used for panning. So it's going to generate something that fits our original to left, right, top and bottom. I'll select them all. Let's go back to the guide, because there's also a panning chapter. Panning expands the canvas of an image in the chosen direction. Here the top is being added to the starting image, then the bottom, then left and right. You can create entire sceneries by adding this panning multiple times. For example, here on top. Don't worry about the remix mode. We're going to talk about that in a later video as well. But for now, don't worry about it. We'll get back to Midjourney. And here we have the pan up example. more content on top, pan down, we have the body of the dog now. Left and right takes a little bit more time. And here we are now, pan right, the original is kept and it has expanded the canvas to the right and to the left. Let us pick one and we'll apply yet another pan. I use U3 here for the pan right. And now we can pan it towards the right. Top and bottom is now missing, so we can't pan this more towards top and bottom. And we also have a new button which is called Make Square. We've had that before under Zoom Out right here. And you can use that on images that are not squared. So the default is a square image. And when you upscale it, it doesn't make sense to make it a square as it already is one. But let me create another dog example, and this time I'll change the aspect ratio to 16:9. Once we've upscaled it, this will then have this make square option. But first, Midjourney is done giving us the pan right. So it has not only expanded the canvas with the background, it has also given us a second dog in it. But if I upscale this, I could pan it further to the right, and you can use the custom variation to get rid of the dog if you want to. So all of this is possible. Now let us check the last one, the 16:9 dog. I'll upscale the first one. And there you go, the make square is added to our options. And here was the upscaled square that doesn't have that. As I've said, it's a square, so it doesn't make sense to make it a square. But here we can do that. I'll simply confirm by clicking on it. And here it is. It's called Zoom Out by default. And you can see that it has cut into the image on left and right to turn this 16:9 example into a square. And that's all that I wanted to cover in this video. Make sure to check out the Midjourney guide. I'll link to it in the video description. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.